Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. We're going to be looking at the Carpuride waterproof navigator this time around, and provides Android Auto and Apple Carplay features on a motorcycle. You don't want to see me struggling with packaging, so here's the kit after we've taken it out of the box. You can see we've got the unit itself, and the wiring's hidden behind it. We've got a spanner, we've got the manual, then we've got the ram mount at the top. We've got two different U-shaped bolts. That's for the different size handlebars. There's a rubber strip to protect your handlebar, and then there's the actual clamp and the ram mount for connecting to the Carpuride. And then tucked on the left you can see a couple of nylock nuts and a couple of rubber tops. All good kit, all nice and simple to put together. When we took the unit out of the box, we noticed what was on the back of it. One was the ram mount, which is really good because there are tons of accessories and mounting kits which can make use of that. And the other thing you notice is that there's a 12-volt wire coming straight out the back of it. And that means that this will be permanently mounted to the bike. In a car, once you've locked the car, the kit and everything is inside. On a bike, when you stop and lock up, your kit is on the outside. So to get started, we've taken the unit out of the box, we've put it on the bench, and we've connected it up to 12 volts. So it's fired up, and as you can see, a nice bright clear screen. All the icons are nice and big, which means that they're going to be easy to touch. And as you can see, we've got the iPlay, Android Auto in the top left hand corner, and then below that we've got the icon for connecting to Bluetooth and playing off a card if you've got music put on a card or video. And on the right hand side really we've got the system settings, music equalizers, sound equalizers, turning the display on and off. Once it's off you just have to tap it and it will come back on again. And then we've got the settings and the Bluetooth connection. Across the top we've got the home icon, we've got the volume control, we've got the time, we've got the Bluetooth connection status, which has got a red X, which means that we're not connected at the moment. We've got a brightness control, we've got an icon that allows you to change the background, and we've got a help button. So the first thing to do I think is get this connected to my phone so we can use Android Auto and also Bluetooth and take it from there. We're going to connect our Android device, and pretty much all the Bluetooth connection is done on your phone. Go to your phone settings, select Bluetooth, and on the list, in my case of available devices, I've got the Carpuride. Let me select that one. There you can see the pairing request. Click on pair. We can see that it's in use. Now we've connected Bluetooth, you can see that the icon on the top of the status line has now got a green tick next to it. So let's now go and connect Android Auto. As you would expect on a motorcycle, the connection for Android Auto is wireless. So the first thing we have to do is go to the settings, and in settings make sure that the Wi-Fi on the unit is turned on. Like before with the Bluetooth, we go into our phone settings, select Wi-Fi in this case rather than Bluetooth, and you should see the Carpuride option on the list. Tap on that, enter the password, click on OK, and you can now see it's connected. Now we've got wireless Android Auto. Now I've connected the two devices, the Carpuride device and my phone. Now we can connect to Android Auto. I did find I had to go into settings and specifically turn on wireless. Now let's have a look at Android Auto. Tap on the button, we get maps and we get Spotify, and I can click here in the bottom left hand corner and I can get a list of the available applications. And it does seem pretty responsive. I can scroll quite easily with my finger. If you want to go back to the unit itself rather than using Android Auto, then click on the exit button in the top corner and we're immediately back. And I think generally it's a pretty snappy experience between the various elements of the system. As you can see, it's now mounted on the bike. Actually it was pretty straightforward to do. The clamp's pretty good, and nice quality touches with the rubber connectors, the rubber covers at the end of the stainless steel U-clamps. We've mounted it to the left on the left handlebars. So let's turn it on and let's see what it looks like in practice. You might be wondering why I'm showing you a blank screen on the Carpuride. There's a simple reason for that. And I think it's a really good reason. While I've been doing these videos, I've had the bike on and off, using a battery on the bike, and I took a break and I left the bike turned on. When I came back, the bike was on, the Garmin was on, but the Carpuride had turned itself off. Now I think, because I started the bike up, started the battery charging, Carpuride came back on, stayed on. I think it's got a really useful feature that if it thinks it's flattening your battery or the battery goes below a certain charge, it will turn itself off, which I think is really cool. I then moved the unit to the centre of the bars as an alternative place to locate it. And if you look at this view, it looks as though it's bang in the way of the instruments. But if I move the camera up to actually where my head is, you can see that it sits perfectly in line with the instruments and gives a really good view. So if you're not using a tank bag, then maybe locating it in the centre of your bars is a great position. And then you've got the navigation screen right in your eye line as you glimpse down towards the instruments. We'll try the sound to the helmet using some music on an SD card, which goes in the side of the unit here. It's really fiddly to get off, but it's part of the waterproofing. But because you can't move this away, make sure you put a cloth or something underneath it, because those tiny little screws, if you drop those into the engine, you won't be finding them anytime soon. So I said I'd look at what it was like to play music from the card. So this is the sort of interface you've got. If you select a track, then it comes up here with its forward, reverse, play, random. And here at the right, you've got the option to go back to the tracks in the album you're listening to, or back to look at the various albums you've got. So sadly this gives you a view of the sort of music that I'm interested in, fairly widespread. That's my excuse, and I'm going to stick to it. So we can go back to Iron Man, and we could have returned at the top as well. We select the track we're listening to. Now if you listen in the background, you can actually hear it playing through the helmet. So I've had it connected up to the helmet, and if we go into the volume, I'm running this about half volume, bit over. Now that might sound tinny and awful to you through this camera, and I've got the helmet next to it, but trust me, when that's on, that sounds really good. This is one of the best sound playbacks I've actually had through one of these devices, so really very good. It does say you can look at photos and watch video. I don't have any video on this, and to be honest, I'm not entirely convinced we should be watching a video while we're riding the bike. So playing stuff off a card, really good, really strong volume, easy to search through, probably something you shouldn't be doing while you're moving, but lots of options. You can stick it on and listen to your playlist. Okay, so we've ridden out into the countryside now, so we can get a signal, but also so you can see what the screens look like in the bright sunlight. And it's difficult on the camera to give you an impression, because I think the glare on the camera looks much worse than it does in real life. And in real life you can angle it so that you get a pretty good view. Now we're out here with the signal, everything works the way it should do. So if you want Spotify, Spotify works the way you would expect Spotify to work, and you can probably just about hear that in the background. That's it coming out through the speakers, and again, quality of it really good. I've ridden out here with it with the tank bag, because I put the camera and stuff in a tank bag. It didn't really prove to be a problem, and actually as I use it, that positioning there works quite nicely. I think maybe if I was running with this long term, then I would go and get a matte screen protector, just to take some of that glare off it, just to flatten it down a little bit. And really nothing to complain about, other than the things I raised at the start. So make sure you're wearing gloves that are compatible with it. Dead easy to check, just make sure that the glove works with your mobile phone. That was the check I did. I think it's a good unit, and for the amount of money it costs at the moment, I think it's on offer at about £200. Compare that to a dedicated sat nav, and it's really good value. So with that guys, I'm going to put helmet and gear back on and ride back home. So we're back in the garage, and I've taken the bike for a bit of a blast. The visibility stayed really good. There was no problem seeing it. More importantly actually, no problems hearing it. The quality of the sound, the quality of the map instructions. I was playing Spotify at the same time. They quietened down Spotify while I got the map instructions. Was really good, possibly some of the best quality I've had. The other thing is, when I ride I wear earplugs. Lots of bikers wear earplugs. It's good for keeping our sound, our hearing intact, and that can block out, it certainly blocks out sound. It can block out some of the music if you've got speakers in your helmet. Hearing this through those is a really good sign. So the quality of the screen fantastic, the quality of the sound really good. Once we were out and had a decent signal, everything worked perfectly. I took it up to, let's say, legal limits, could hear everything perfectly well. Probably better than the my usual sat-nav, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So that's it, the Carpuride 502. When I started this I wasn't sure how well I'd get on with it. Couldn't quite see the reason why you would have it, but as I've tested it I've really come to like it. I've liked the screen, nice and bright and colourful. It works perfectly well, it's snappy, all the features work, the sound quality is really good. The only remaining issue is that of security, the fact you have to have it permanently plugged in, and if the guys would put a waterproof plug just on that lead out of the back of it, to me that would be pretty good, and for the price, just excellent value. I've come to the end of it, really impressed. So well done guys, thanks a lot.